Yeah, one of the key components of professional photography is layered light. Well, sounds complicated, but no, of course it's not. I mean, we're talking about fill flash is obviously layered light and a combination of ambient light. A lot of in-studio shots are obviously multiple strobes or using a pop-up flash to trigger remote speed lights. That's also layered light. But you need to be, this is of course fully in line with the premise of you need to see your photographs as what they can be versus what your eyeballs can see. I mean, your camera, as I've said repeatedly, is a time machine. So you need to start thinking in terms of time and layering of light, not just exposure and composition, which are obviously incredibly important, but the layering of light. I mean, obviously I have one layer here that I've actually checked for. It's a Simplex fiber optics. I glued a Nikon body back together. It's essentially just a shell. There's nothing inside whatsoever. And obviously I turned this light off overhead, but I have it on for demonstration purposes. Doing like 4-second exposures at ISO 200. And you're asking, well, why ISO 200 versus you're in complete pitch dark? Well, the lower the ISO that I have, the longer that I have to actually use my brushes, my light brushes, flashlights, strobes, whatever it is, fiber optics, gives me more latitude to paint my picture. So that's why I'm using ISO 200. What I was doing, and you'll see the download link below. Like I said, this is a 5-minute setup. I mean, just imagine what you could do if you've got 20 minutes or half an hour to set up a shot. Be thinking not only in terms of composition and being creative in what you can do. And let me see if I'll bring this up. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll have the download link below. But here you can see what we have here. But you need to be thinking in terms of the layering of the effects. So your composition, you're like, oh, well, that's too much. I need to get my exposure right. Well, when it comes to time exposures like this, you experiment around a little bit, and after a few days or even a few weeks at most of just putzing around, I mean, you'll actually get a feel for like, well, I have too much center light here, so what I need to do, I got too much burn in my center of my image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my aperture up to 22 or higher, drop my ISO down lower. And I'm going to change my shutter speed up or down a little bit, so that gives me enough time. What I've actually done in this shot is layered the light by obviously exposing for the blue fiber optics, but actually painting with the flashlight. You can actually do it with the speed light on strobe mode, but I mean that's too much, and I wanted to actually leave my background unexposed and then I have to edit it heavily in Photoshop. So always be thinking in terms of layering your light. I mean, fill flash is layering, multiple strobes or multiple speed lights, and slave mode is layering. I mean, this is layering. I mean, I'm exposing for this and checking, and then what I'm doing is I'm actually painting the outline of my camera, just like this, checking, and actually what I've done is I've used 2 lights. I've used the one handheld here, and I've used another one way over here on this side, so I'm able to illuminate this part of the body, and that's just what I wanted to do. I mean, obviously I don't need to illuminate the entire body, but when I was taking this camera apart, and I've taken apart so many Nikons, I was just thinking, well, why not just take the main shell pieces of the Nikon and glue them back together? I mean, there's no parts inside here. We just have the shell of the Nikon DSLR, and I'll stick various things through the lens mount, and I can use this camera body later. I did this, like 15 years ago. I did that with another Nikon DSLR. I took a picture of someone looking through the back of it, and you could actually see their smile all the way through the front hole of the camera because the camera was completely gutted. So anyway, the point is that one of the really key fundamentals of professional photography, and basically 100% of all studio photography, is light layering. People think of terms of illumination. Well, I need to illuminate this or that, and well, obviously that's the case, but you gotta think in terms of layering. Like one gel to simulate sunrise or sunset, another gel for fill, and you constantly be thinking about that. It sounds complicated, but you can really make it yourself very easy quickly. And if you putz around a little bit like this, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it isn't. And so anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.